Hello guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this exciting lab over here for PPP Multilink. This is the one that allows you the ability to bundle multiple serial links together to gain more bandwidth. And we'll take a look at how to configure that. The bottom line in terms of the technology itself, we've covered that a couple of times already, so it should be okay. You guys should be okay with that. So again, we'll talk about Multilink and configure it. The main thing that I want to show you guys is the configuration aspect of it. So this is the lab that we're going to be doing. It's the same type of setup in the inside where I have Ethernet as my LAN. I have Ethernet as my LAN on the other side. This is my WAN side. The only thing that I'm doing differently over here, rather than having one serial link, which has a speed generally of 1.5 megabits per second, which is also known as a T1 link, I'm putting two of those links in my offices. So by putting two links over there, I want to be able to use both links simultaneously. It will allow me the ability to use both links, and it'll do load balancing, some traffic through one, some traffic through the other. Not only that, if one of the link goes down, it will still be up because the other link is still coming up. The interface that will be created based on that is called a multi-link interface. We'll take a look at that as we do the lab. Again, my network will not be assigned, my IP address will not be assigned to my physical interface, which is S10, S11. I'll create a logical interface called a multi-link interface, which is basically made up of two links. So this is a logical interface, which really has two physical interfaces at its disposal to send the traffic through both the links simultaneously. So that's the way it looks like. All right, that's the lab that we're doing over here. It's going to be a fun lab. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Again, my router right now is blank. I blanked the router up, so we'll do it from scratch. But before we do that, real quick look at the theory behind it. Multilink, PPP or MLP. It's basically PPP, which allows you the ability to combine multiple physical interfaces into one logical channel. It will allow you to do load balance, which basically means send some traffic through one link, some traffic through the other. It load balances the traffic. Not only that, one link goes down, the other one's still up, so you also have redundancy in this case. All right, that's PPP Multilink. Now configuring it, but before we configure the Multilink part of it, let's do the other part, which we have been doing. Again, as I said, it's a blank router right now. It's come to, would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? I'll say no to router 1, and I'll say no to router 2. So both the routers right now are set up with nothing on it, so we'll start it up from scratch. You guys remember these commands over here? En, config t, host name, no IP domain lookup, line con 0, login synchronous. We'll do all of that. I'll set the physical interface up, and then we'll move in and do the multi-link configuration. So let's do that over here on router 1. I'll explain the command as I go through it. En moves it from use exec to privilege exec, but you guys are expert by now. You should know that. Config T sets you into global config mode. In the global config mode, I'll set my host name as R1. I'll disable that domain lookup, so if I mistype in a command, it's not going to cause problems. I'll go into my console port and get rid of that message that would, if an alert message pops on your screen, your cursor is in the right place. So these are basic things that I would do every time I go into a router. Now, I'm not going to configure the WAN interface. I'll do my Ethernet interface, which is my LAN side. IP address 192.168.1.1. I'm doing that based on the topology over here. Same topology that we have been using, 192.168.1.0 is the network, .1 is my IP. All right, that's all I've done over here, and I'll bring the interface up. And I'll do the same thing on router 2. En config T to go to global config, set the host name, and once I'm in there, I would set up my no IP domain lookup to disable that, go under the console port, and turn off the login or turn on login synchronous. Interface E0/0, set the IP address. On this side it was 2.1. On the 2 network, .1 with the right mask, no shut. So that interface is up. Again, this network over here is 2. Now I'm ready to do the multi-link configuration. So what I'll do is I'll create a logical interface called the multi-link interface. I'll use my scratchpad over here to do that. So my multi-link interface, how do I create it? Interface, multi-link, and a number. Any number doesn't matter. Let's say 1. It's locally significant, so you can use different numbers on the two sides of the routers. I could use 1 on here, 2 on the other one. I could use 2 over here, 2 over there, 1 here, 1 here. It's locally significant. And the only configuration that I'll do on the multi-link interface is the IP address, 192.168.12.1, 255.255.255.0. So I'm not setting the IP address on my physical link, I'm doing it on the logical link. Now what do I do on the physical link? If you take a look at my diagram over here, I have two physical interfaces, 1.0 and 1.1. So those two interfaces, I need them to be PPP interfaces first of all, and then I want them to be members of your multi-link 1. So how do I go about doing it so that these two become members? I go to my physical interface, S1/0, change my encapsulation to PPP, and then tell it, hey, listen, I want you to be a member of this multi-link group called 1. 1 is the tie-up between multi-link 1 over here and this particular physical interface. So that basically tells me that a multi-link 1 can use this physical interface to transmit data. I also have the other interface, S1/1, which will have the same config. It is also running PPP, and it is also a member of the group 1, which is your multi-link interface. So basically, because of this tie-up of this number over here, I basically bound S10 and S11 to be the two physical carriers of traffic that goes through this virtual or logical interface. Also known as a logical interface. Logical is which is not physical. All right. The other thing that you must have noticed already over here is that I did not do a no-shut for the multi-link interface. I don't need to. I could have done it, but it really doesn't matter because multi-link interface is a logical interface. All the logical interfaces automatically come up. So I don't need to do that on multi-link interfaces. So with this in mind, now that we've seen what the configuration will look like, let's go ahead and implement that. Let's start with router 1 over here. Interface multi-link 1, any number, IP address 192.168.12.1. All right, nothing else, just set the IP address underneath it. Then under the interface, the physical interface, incap PPP, make it a PPP interface, multi-link, group, and the number. The number needs to match the multi-link interface number. This is a physical interface. You need to do no shut to bring it up. And I'll do the same thing with my S1/1 interface. Enable PPP as the encapsulation, PPP multi-link group 1. No shut. And that's how you configure multi-link. But it's not going to come up completely. It's going to come down because the other side is not configured. So it's trying to look for the other side. If it doesn't find the other side, it's going to bring it down. Okay. In the meantime, what I'll do is I'll start the configuration of multi-link on this side. And as I talked about, multi-link 1, set the IP address. So I don't set the IP address now on the physical interface. I'm doing this on a logical interface. But which physical media is it using to connect? It's a serial 1/0 and serial 1/1. And how do I link it? PPP multi-link group 1, no shut. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other interface. You'll notice that the multi-link just came up. Although the other one is not configured, the first one, you don't have two interfaces up, but at least one of them is up. Now let's do the other one. PPP multi-link group 1. That group number is the link between the logical and the physical. Now my second interface should also come up. Now if you check my IP configuration, show IP interface brief, you will notice that although my serial links are up, they don't have an IP address set, but instead your multi-link has an IP address set. Okay, Can I ping it? 192.168.12.1? Absolutely. So I'm now using both links to send traffic. It's going to load balance some traffic over the S10 interface, the other traffic over S11. Now, what are the other show commands or verification commands that you can do? Show PPP Multilink active is a command that shows you what are the multilinks that are active. Bundle name is R1. Bundle name is R1, that's the remote guy. And the local endpoint discriminator, my host name is R2. Now the amount of bandwidth that you see is 3088. That's the reason for that is every serial interface by default has a bandwidth of 1544. If you multiply that by 2, you get the 3088. All right. It also tells you that this multi-link has 2 active interfaces, 2 member links, 2 active links. 0 inactive means all the interfaces that were configured in the multi-link are up. Which are those 2? S10 and S11. So it's carrying, this multi-link interface is carrying traffic over S10 and S11. So it's using both links to send the traffic. Again, as I said, load balanced. All right. And I can do the same thing, same check on the other side, which is router 1. Show PPP multi-link active. Shows you that 2 interfaces are active. I should be able to ping 12.2. Now in your PowerPoint, your slide, I've given you all the config. Go to router 1, create the multi-link, set the IP address, go into the physical interface, make it a member of the multi-link by joining or linking the multi-link to the physical link by using the multi-link group command, the same number, it has to match. S11, again, the same number to match. So these 2 interfaces are part of the same multi-link. On R2, same concept. To do it, just a different IP address. Also, in your slides, I've given you some of the commands that you can use to verify the configuration. You can do a ping, you can do show IP interface brief, show PPP multi-link active is another nice command that you can use to verify the configuration. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This was your WAN protocols at this point. The basic WAN protocols, PPP and HDLC are covered. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about, the next set of videos that we're going to do is about remote management over this WAN setup. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. See you guys in the next video.